Now that's what I like to see. Tack strip getting ready to go down. He's lining it up for his pops. His pops is in the other room. Of course, when you put this tack strip down, it's got all those little nails sticking up at an angle, and you want to face those facing the wall, so when they stretch the carpet, it grabs. I think you've done this a few times, Billy.
Yeah, once or twice.
That's a slick little cutter there for his wood.
What's that?
I'm just saying, a slick little cutter you have there.
All right.
And you just eyeball it, or you make it about a finger or so?
It just depends on the thickness of the carpet. It's how you figure it out.
It's enough of a gap for the carpet to roll over that, over the pad. The pad stops to here, and then the carpet goes over, and then it kind of slips down in there underneath the baseboard. That's why generally when you install a baseboard, you hold it up on the floor like that. Almost looked like he was using a hammer tacker there for a second, but no, that's a hammer. And they gotta be careful when they're hammering it down. You gotta be careful because you don't want to hit the baseboard, because the baseboard has already been nicely cleaned, sanded, and painted. See, so it doesn't matter. That's probably, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch or so. But he just kind of takes his finger and kind of holds it up there. There you go. He was in this room for, I don't know, 5 minutes? little bit. Let's do it. Yeah.
What are you doing?
Nailed it.
Yeah, I want you to do that. Go ahead, grab your
Okay, well, not much to show you about carpet tack strip other than get it installed properly. Of course, if you're nailing this down onto concrete subfloor, they have different tack strip with little concrete nails in it, and then that gets a little tricky. But on a wood subfloor, it goes pretty quick when you know what you're doing. They'll be ready to set pad here in a minute. Now, do you see a common theme here? You want to maintain that gap all the way along all of your walls. You see there? Even around your door frames. Okay? See how he leaves that slight little gap there? And incidentally, when the doors are installed, they always like to lift them up off the ground. They make a decision, whoever's installing the doors and frames usually is the same person who installs the baseboard. So if there's a gap, if they decide that they want a gap underneath the baseboard by 5/8 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch, let's say, then they would raise their door frames up about 3/4 of an inch. You see there? See, the door frames are not down tight to the floor, are they? When they install them. 'Cause the idea is when you cut your carpet, you cut it long. After you stretch it, you cut it long, and then you slip it underneath the door frame, underneath the door casing, underneath the baseboard. If you had your baseboard down tight to the floor, or only up off the floor by 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch, and let's say your door jambs were installed tight to the floor or 1/8 of an inch up or something, now you can't slip your carpet underneath there. You've got to cut your carpet almost precise and then kind of tap it down in there. You're going to mark up your baseboard a little bit and all that kind of stuff. And incidentally, talking about marking up baseboard, when they install the carpet, they're going to have to be careful because the carpet backing is really rough, like sandpaper. So when it rolls up, they'll be careful, and when they cut it, they'll still kind of be careful as they're poking it down in there, or else it's going to scratch. The back side of the carpet's going to scratch all the nicely painted baseboard. We got that on any job. Okay, so the carpet guys know that, but I'll probably be mindful and just tell him, and he'll probably have a chuckle like, yeah, I know, okay, whatever. So, anyways, that's how it's gonna look. Now, on most rooms, if you got a really super long room, let's say a playroom or something like that, and depending how long it is, sometimes carpet layers like to put two rows of tack strip along the end walls that they're going to stretch, because then they use a power stretcher and they stretch it, and they want more grab because they're stretching it pretty hard. Sometimes if you only have one carpet tack strip, you could have a tendency of tilting that, pulling it away from the wall. I've never seen it happen, but I've seen some carpet guys have told me that's why they do it. Okay, it gives a little bit more meat for the back side of the carpet to grab on there too. You don't want, when you're stretching it that far, you don't want the back of the carpet to kind of stretch or slightly tear because it's only on a couple nails, So, but this particular room, he doesn't need to do that. It's not long enough. It's not long enough for that, so he feels fine with just one row. Right up against the tile, yeah. You don't need anything finished. Just leave your gap like that, and the carpet's gonna roll down in there. It'll look good when it gets done. There's different applications, different times where they might do something slightly different than this. If they're going over the top of a linoleum floor or hardwood floor, or if there's something else there. So there's different ways to do carpet transitions, I would call that. Okay. See here? You look nice. Looks like they know what they're doing. I feel pretty confident about these guys. Everything's fine. And first thing this morning when I got here, of course, I had to hook up the dryer, get that pushed back in there, get the wash machine back there. That was my priority this morning. Get that pushed back in there and get it out of the way. I was wondering what he was doing. He just nailed that down there, and he's just using it as a template to cut all of his pieces for the stairs. He's going to take some little tack strip and put it on both ends of each step as well. And that's a good thing, I think. When I pulled up this old carpet, they only had the tack strips along the front, along the back edge, like how he's already got it. They didn't put any on the sides. And it's kind of a good thing to go ahead and put it on the sides too. That way you can kind of stretch it and it kind of holds things in place to keep the carpet from puckering over the years, especially if you have longer, a wider stairwell than this one. This one's a little narrow, but he's still doing it for the sake of argument because that's how he does his stairs, and I like that. Good thing to do when you're doing stairs. He's got the carpet pad out in this particular room already. And the important thing on this is making sure you get your seams tight. See here? He's got a seam really good. Nice and tight there. Very nice. And because it's on a wood floor, he's taking his hammer. He's got a hammer tacker here. And he just hammers it in there. Because you don't want those seams. You don't want those joints coming loose when you get ready to flop your carpet in here and start walking around and stuff. Is that stuff cut that easy with just a regular sheetrock knife, or do you use a Bloody Mary?
You could use either.
Yeah, as long as it's sharp.
Bloody knife or Bloody Mary, either one.
As long as it's a nice sharp one. And you know, is there a rhyme or reason how to install this carpet pad? Well, yeah, because if he were to have installed it the other direction, then he would have had an additional seam to do and an additional cut. This way, because he ran it in the direction he did, he's only got one seam down the middle. So his pops was in here going over that with him and asking him, okay, which way should you run it? Check it out. And so that's why he's running it the way he is. To minimize your cuts and then to try to keep your factory edges intact, he was able to start it over here. This is your factory edge, so that at least you got one line there. Well, the guys are gone for the day. They weren't planning on installing the carpet today, but lots of times, depending on crew size and stuff, you should be able to do the carpet tack strip, the carpet pad, and the carpet in one day. But as it was just a father and son team, and the father went down and he finished the vinyl flooring. But I'll talk to you about that in a little bit. So he kind of left his son on his own to do the carpet pad. He did pretty good in this room and this closet, and where he did this seam, he just overlapped the pad and then double cut it, and then it fits. So that was kind of cool how he did that. I'm not too thrilled how he did this little main area. See, first he did that first bedroom, then he came in here and did this master bedroom. Okay, and he did pretty good. If it was me or most carpet guys, I think they would have put the seams the other direction. But he put them this way, and they're kind of right in front of the bathroom. But it shouldn't really matter on the seams as long as the seams are tight and stuff for the carpet pad. Yes, it does matter once you start installing the carpet. So, you know, I'm gonna let that slide. And so he got this stuff in here, and he ran out of staples. They ran out of staples, but you know, that's okay. I told him that's fine. When they come back to install the carpet, he'll finish this area here. And I wasn't too keen on how he did this. He was trying to use up his scraps, and then his pops came in here after he got done and said, you know what, carpet pad is pretty cheap, and they always bring extra carpet pad. Look, he's got a full roll here, plus he's got this. He could have used this. I don't know why he wasn't using that. He was trying to utilize his scrap is all I can think of. Because see, he's piecemealed this. He's got a funky seam here, funky seams here, and then he's got one right here at the stairs. You know, you just don't do stuff like that. And I'm showing you on what not to do if you're going to have carpet installed, or if you're the person who's going to install your own carpet and you're getting ready to install the carpet pad. I mean, just run the 6 foot wide strips this direction, so you only have, you know, from here to 6 feet, he'd only have one seam right here, and then from here to 6 feet, he'd have another seam over here. You've got one seam, boom. You got a full piece coming here. You don't run a piece from here and then have a seam right there. I mean, you see what I mean? And then he's got this piece kind of cut in here. So it was kind of funny. His dad said, "Well, you know, hey, we got extra carpet pad," and he said, "We'll clean this up when we install the carpet." I think he's gonna take this whole section out, and then he's gonna use the other carpet pad and run it, you know, all the way. I can't have this. I can't leave this. This is not acceptable to me. Having a joint here. Look how this was cut here. Having a piece there. No. And having this cut at an angle like this. No, that's not okay with me. And, you know, I'm just going to have to make sure I'm here the day that they're going to come back to install the carpet, and make sure before I say anything, I'm just going to see if they do it on their own, and if for some reason they start trimming this, I'll say, "Hey, you know, I'd rather have you just use the other carpet padding and put a straight shot down here so we don't have all these funky seams in here and they're not cut tight and all that kind of stuff." And I'm sure they'll get it, okay? And so, hey, that's the way it goes. Since they did it, I wanted to show you what not to do, okay? And so next time they come, I'll make sure they get this fixed, and then they're gonna bring in the carpet and install the carpet, okay? I'll show you that next time. Yeah, so if you're gonna install your carpet pad over wood subfloor, then you staple it down. You saw the hammer tacker, and he just tacked away. Tap, 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 tap. Look how many staples he put. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter because the carpet's going to cover that. It's fine. I wouldn't have thought they would put them that close together. You know what I mean? But in any case, you do that, and then on the sides, you want to tack that down on the sides, because you don't want this moving and shifting around when you get ready to flop the carpets down, stretch the carpet, and all that kind of stuff. And I noticed he's a little long on the sides here. You may have to trim that or something. I want to make sure that the registers will fit in there. I'm sure they will. Worst case scenario, I may have to trim a little bit of that, or they'll have to when they cut the carpet, because I'm going to have the registers here. In fact, I have them in the bathroom, and I'll have the registers out so that when they cut the carpet hole, I'll have them make sure that the registers fit, because if they don't fit, it will only take them just a few minutes, even less than that, to make sure to retrim it a little bit and cut it and make it fit. I don't want to have to mess with that later, you know, on my own. So make sure you've got your registers ready for them. If you have floor registers, lots of places nowadays only have the air conditioning and heating registers up in the ceilings. Then you don't have to worry about it. But if they're in the floor, make sure you have them. Okay? And make sure, here's the other tip, make sure you bring enough staples. You've got enough staples. As it was, they thought they had enough staples for this whole thing, but hey, he used a lot of staples. I could hear him tap, 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 tap. And I'm thinking, good Lord, when is he going to finish tapping? And he ran out of staples. Now, had he not used as many staples as he used, and had he have run this the other direction, he'd have one seam through here, one seam over here, and maybe one other one over here. As it is, you know, this is, like I say, this is gonna be flip-flopped around. They'll still be able to use a lot of this coming in through here and stuff. They won't be throwing that much away. But in any case, make sure you've got enough staples. Had he had enough staples, of course they would have finished. And then his pops would have came up here and said, hey, I wouldn't have ran these seams this way, but you're learning. And next time do it this other way, and blah, blah, blah. So I'm gonna give him the shadow of the doubt on that. But hey, it is what it is for today. All right? And they'll finish this up when they bring the carpet in. It'll be fine.